Facebook, YouTube, IGTV. It's Marquise Martin Hayes. How are you? It's time for Thriving Thursdays. It's been a minute, and I'm your host, Marquise Martin Hayes. It is my honor, it is my pleasure, it is my privilege to bring to you another opportunity to be encouraged, inspired, and transformed so that you can thrive in your life. Just want to let you know this show is sponsored by Willis Consulting. Willis Consulting and Counseling supports the message of Thriving Thursdays, and it is a Chicago-based counseling practice that offers services to partners, individuals, and families. They offer services via virtual appointment and in person in Chicago and in Naperville, Illinois. Everyday folk sometimes need a tune-up on their mental wellness, and that's exactly what you get at WCC. You can learn more about them at their website, www.williscc.com, or text them directly from Facebook Messenger. Willis Consulting. Also, one of our sponsors today. You know I love to talk about skincare because how you show up makes a difference. First impressions are always lasting impressions. Did you know that you only have 5 seconds to make a first impression? And in that 5 seconds, 11 judgments. Did you hear what I said? 11 judgments are made in the first 5 seconds. Whether you like it or not, people subconsciously begin to judge you. So why not make sure you've done an amazing job to make sure your skin glows, looks healthy, and feels good. So without further ado, Rodan & Fields. I'm a proud sponsor and a proud consultant for Rodan & Fields because it has made a difference in how I show up. One of the products that I personally use is right here. I use the Redefine Boost. This is the Lash Boost product right here. As a matter of fact, let me bring it in and zoom it in a little bit more for you because Redefine is what I use on a daily basis to help remove fine lines and wrinkles and keep my skin looking young and fresh. Redefine is my personal one. It looks like this here. Take a look. That's the group I use. So I have a foam cleanser. You can use a foam or a clay mask. I have a toner. I use a AM moisturizer with SPF in it when I'm going out for the day. And there's a night moisturizer that cleanses and replenishes my skin before I rest. One other quick example I want to share with you when we talk about skincare. Don't just take it because I eat well and think that it's just because I'm an actor and I look fairly decent. Here is an example of a woman's before and after in only 8 weeks. You looking to have a change? You have sensitive skin? You have eczema? I can help you. All right. So enough of the good advertising stuff and all the products that we do use. I would like to begin this show by letting you know it's been a while. And now I have someone very special on camera with me. Her name is Gervel Jones-Sampson. She is joining us today straight out of LA area. Gervel, welcome to Thriving Thursdays. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So I would like for you in just a brief moment to tell us a little bit about you and what makes you so amazing and why I invited you on the show so that everyone has the opportunity to stay tuned and know what they're getting into. And I tell all my guests, this is not the time to be bashful. Tell us all the good stuff, all the things that we acknowledge you for so that others can also acknowledge you as well.
Okay. I am a professional photographer. I'm a portrait photographer. I specialize in all types of photography, such as beauty, boudoir, personal branding, headshots, and I'm really known for something special I do. I do underwater portraits as well.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's interesting. I started my professional photography career about 6 years ago. So I have not been in this industry like 30 years. So I am proof that you can start something at a different phase of life, even if you think you can't. And I am thriving in my photography business.
No, keep going. I mean, share it. I'm actually, while you're sharing about some of that, I'm going to pull up a photo because I want them to see how amazing your work is. I wish I could have, you know what? We got to bring you back because I would have loved to have had you in the studio so they could see the countless pieces of art, not even photography, art that you have accumulated and generated for others in their life. But you probably already know which one I'm going to pull up here in just a moment. But Anyway, since you've only been in the business, you said 6 years, is that right?
6 years, 6 years.
6 years. Do me
Yes.
this favor. Tell us what's that like and how did you become so popular in the work that you do? Like some people, as you said, you're proof that you don't have to be in the industry 30 years and then come along and produce magic. As you're talking about how that even came into your world, I'm going to get this piece up here shortly.
Okay.
Share
Well, all my life, I've always loved imagery. I've always loved beautiful images. I've always loved photography. I've always played around with Instamatic cameras that we all had growing up, point and shoot cameras. My brother, who unfortunately passed away 10 years ago, was a professional photographer, and I used to help him on occasion. And once my brother transitioned, I said to myself, I need to take on and carry the torch. And that is when I started going back to school for photography and decided that I wanted to launch a business, which I did about 6 years ago. But
That's really cool.
I just have always loved beautiful images. I grew up addicted to magazines. I'm still addicted to magazines. I just can get lost in beautiful photos, which is what I like to try to create for my clients. Magazine inspired imagery.
And you do an amazing job. You do an amazing job. Gervel, one of the things that I've come to learn about you is that you're resilient. Like you're super, super, super resilient. And so, again, from my perspective, you're not a beginner when we talk about art. You're literally in the upper echelon with the type of work you produce. I got the background with magazine, having inspired it and things of that nature. What took you into underwater photography and how did that come about? And open that up for us.
Well,
Again,
that's
yeah.
kind of a funny story. I've always loved the water. I grew up in the water. I'm an avid swimmer. I love the ocean. And about 5 years ago, I was taking a seminar. I'm always into continuous learning. So whenever there are experts teaching different classes, I'm the first one to sign up because I just want to learn everything I can about my craft.
Mhm.
So I took this course actually down in San Diego. It was a week-long photography course where you learned about a lot of different genres. And one of the genres was underwater photography. And I didn't know if I would even connect with it.
Okay.
Actually, there was a teacher of mine. Her name is Christy Elias. She may be watching. But anyway, she was teaching this course, and I went. It was a half day. And you just watched her capture clients underwater. And I became obsessed. I came home and I said, I have got to do this. I have got to do this. And I have a beautiful pool, which made me was more the reason I needed to do this. So I started doing my research, and it was a major investment because you have to buy housing for your camera to go inside, which is like a major
Oh,
investment.
okay. For underwater.
Yes.
Yeah, duh,
Yes.
Marquise.
So
Underwater.
initially, I rented because I said, what if I don't like this? Because when I talk about an investment, it's like, the housing itself is about $4,000. And I played around with it and I said, I'm hooked. I got to do this. Long story short, I bought my housing and then I had to figure out my style and come up with my skill set doing underwater.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just solicit people and say, hey, can I photograph you underwater? I'll just do it. Just come over. Just come over. And I just kept repeatedly photographing people until I finally kind of narrowed down to my style and what I liked. And I've been doing it ever since. And that image you're showing is one of my favorites because I'm also now collaborating with another fellow artist named Rio, who is an incredible body paint artist. And this was a client that we collaborated on where he painted her as an underwater goddess and I photographed her underwater. So I just love, 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 love creating magic.
So that's body paint on her, and then she went underwater and you photographed.
Yes.
Now, is
Yes.
this an actual portrait that we're looking at, or is this a drawing, painting,
This is an
illustration?
actual photograph that I took underwater.
Wow.
And it's interesting. It is, I did get it. I have a large acrylic of this one
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my home studio. But yes. So it
That,
is a photograph to answer your question. Yes.
wow.
And the
Wow.
other question I get, people will say, do you use scuba equipment underwater? No, I don't.
Okay.
I, in another life, I was a mermaid. So,
Wait a minute. You don't wait. Hold on, because there's only a certain amount of time, in order to capture these images. So anyway,
yes.
go ahead.
So
Mermaid. I
I
got
can
your
go underwater and I can hold my breath. I have a really incredibly long breath hold.
okay.
So, what I do is I go down under and I tell my client, come on down under. When you need air, go back up and get air. Don't wait for me. I'm just going to wait for you. Come
Hmm.
back down,
Hmm.
go back up, come back down, go back up. So I can hold my breath for a long time. So I don't need scuba equipment.
Wow.
So,
Awesome. Awesome. So, uh, as it relates to your art, what is it that you? How do you come up with some of the images? Like I'm looking at an image right now that I'll probably share as well. How do you come up with these ideas to bring out the beauty in people in such a way that really, from my perspective, is breathtaking?
well, part of my process is when someone books me, we start a dialogue. And my question I like to ask is, how do you dream about being photographed?
Mm.
And no dream is too big. I will do everything in my power to make it happen. So somebody may say, I'm dreaming of being an avatar underwater. So I'll say, maybe you need to work with the body paint artist and we transform you into an avatar. Or someone may say, I'm, expecting my first baby and I just want to look like a goddess underwater and I want to have a lot of fabrics with me. And I just want to look like I'm just the most beautiful woman in the world about to have a baby. And we'll do that. Or sometimes somebody will come up with something quirky. Like I had a client who said, I want to go underwater and I want to be a 1950s housewife and I want to have a vacuum cleaner and I want to look like I'm vacuuming underwater.
Seriously.
Yeah, I did that before. Or I've done
Wow.
a mermaid using a laptop. She wanted the imagery of I'm a mermaid, but I'm doing my work as well underwater. I want to go underwater and look like I'm reading a book. You name it, I've done it. I've done it. Matter of fact, I have a client who is a cowboy and he wants to do something to incorporate being a cowboy underwater. We haven't figured out exactly what we're going to do, but that's coming. And it feeds my creative energy when people come up with all sorts of ideals like that. And I
I
have
would
to kind of
imagine.
troubleshoot and figure out how to make it happen.
Well, you're gonna have to think about how to make me an underwater astronaut. I don't even know why I want to do that, but like it just hit me.
Well, we can do that. See, I haven't done that.
I don't know
So,
why, but why not? But why not? All right. So
exactly.
I know it's just why not? We're having fun. We're having fun.
I do underwater
Given that
boudoir.
this has become, yeah,
A lot of ladies like to do the
talk on
underwater
it, speak
boudoir,
on it.
which is taking that to another level. It's like bring your sexy down under, and that's really fun too. It's like I've had ladies wear their stockings and a garter belt. And, the sky's the limit. Or sometimes I get clients who just want to be real simple, just nude, just
Yeah,
them in the water.
and just show off. We're not
Yeah.
going to show any of those today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to
Yes.
pass
Yeah.
on those, but I get it.
Yes.
So, okay, so boudoir, I find very intriguing, not just because I'm a male, but I think it's incredible that the world is set up in such a way now that it's okay for women to have boudoir photos, which I think is important because I think every woman needs to feel good about who they are, how they look, how they show up in the world. So I encourage women to go do it. Like, go do it, even if you never show it, and you
Yes.
should show one or two. That it's healthy for self-image, right? Especially since
Yes.
we have so much body shaming, and our bodies are not necessarily doing everything we want them to do. At the end of the day, it's what we have or what they have. And so being able to acknowledge that in a way that brings about beauty, I think is a blessing, really. So
Yes.
artists like you create that environment. What's that like for you, and what are some of the rewards? Because I know we're going that'll probably take us into some of the women's coaching you've been doing and how you're
Yes.
touching lives. But I'm
Yes.
really intrigued by how that shows up for people as I get ready to also show a different image as well.
Um, we as women, a lot of times we're like body shamed, and we're told by certain segments of society that maybe our body isn't what society says it should be, or maybe what images that maybe aren't even real images
Yeah,
of
that,
women
yeah.
really are. So I like to tell women that we're good enough today. We're good enough at whatever your age is, whatever your weight is, whatever your body is. We're good enough that day. And
Mhm.
if you're a work in progress or you're working on something, we can acknowledge that at that time too. But accept who you are this moment and this time.
Mm,
And let's capture that. And let me, as the professional, make you shine.
mhm.
And that's what I like to do.
That's cool.
And especially with my boudoir photography, because it's almost about, I like women to come to me and say that they're doing it for themselves, not for a
Yeah,
partner, or
yeah.
not for anything but themselves.
Mhm,
Let's just love self and do
mhm,
this to honor where you
mhm,
are and
mhm,
honor this body of
mhm.
yours.
I love that you talked about you're good enough for today and really being
Yes.
present with that idea, because I think a lot of times what we do in our culture is we struggle with being present in
Right.
anything. It's always about the next goal, or oh my god, my past is so horrible, or I used to be so great, or I'm going to be so great, versus really just being present. And in this image, when you were talking with this client about being present,
Yes.
what were some of the outcomes of her being able to become present, or that you discovered while taking this shot?
Well, that was a maternity session. And on her journey, she said, she knew she was having a girl. And she said, I want something that my little baby girl who is not here yet will look at in awe when she sees me
Hmm.
and is able to appreciate this image of me with her inside of me. I want to represent the beauty of carrying her.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that was a special shoot.
That's really cool, and that you're able to capture that for her.
Yes,
That's something special.
yes.
Um, in your journey, how, Javel, how have you? First of all, what sparked you, right? Because first of all, let me back up. Let me back up. First of all, respectfully, we are friends, so that y'all know we're friends. Javel, I don't know what you've done the last few years, but you have taken it up like several notches. I got dudes in my inbox like, "Yo, who's that on your show?" Like hearts, like, "Oh my god." What has transpired in you that has reinvigorated who you are and how you show up in the world? Because it's a different person altogether.
Well, for me, a couple of years ago, boy, I'm going to date myself on this one.
Uh oh, I didn't
I
ask.
I had a big birthday,
Okay.
and I'm not afraid to share my birthday. I turned 60. So I came up with this concept of 60 sexty. Like,
Ah.
we're not the past, whatever 60 represented.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to throw all of that in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
That because you're a certain age, it doesn't mean you stop living. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean you're not alluring. It doesn't mean that you're like on middle age road. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to show that we, as women, as we mature, we still are vibrant and
Mm-hmm.
we're still relevant to the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sitting on a porch in a rocking chair holding some grandchildren. Not that
Mhm.
that's a bad thing, but
Yeah, it's just
you know.
right. It's not mandatory that it's that.
Yes, and I think not think we met many years ago on the
Yeah,
vegan thing,
yeah, yeah.
and you and I both know the importance of diet
It helps.
and what you put in your body.
It so helps.
And I've been on that path for quite some time.
That's cool. Now, what people don't know is that this didn't happen overnight for you,
No.
because I remember somebody being a part of a collage of Brazilian bikini parties.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. And I would share with my friends, like clients, not like, hey man, look at her. No, 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 no. Like clients, like, hey, listen, um, you don't have to be where you are, and age is irrelevant. By the way, here's several women above 50 in Brazilian, not bikinis, Brazilian bikinis, crushing the game. Like really, like present and beautiful, glamorously beautiful. So, I mean, what types of other things have you done to create or maintain this sense of youthfulness and beauty about yourself? As I also post another image coming up as well.
I think a lot of it is a state of mind.
Mm.
A lot of it begins inside. Um, I've always liked physical activity.
Okay.
I've always liked, doing a variety of things. But I think it starts inside of you
Okay.
and claiming this is where I am and this is how I feel. And I'm not going to let a number define me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do everything I can to be the best that I can. And I'm going to serve my body well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to treat myself good and do my self-care. I'm going to take care of myself
Yeah.
like you would take care of anything else.
What are some of the things that you do to take care of yourself?
I'm not obsessive about my diet,
Okay.
but I do choose what I put into my body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty much vegan. I do have a few deviations for a few things that
Sure.
I kind of like here and there. So I'm not a food police, or I'm not anal about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I love how I feel working out.
Okay.
So a couple of years ago, I won a Peloton bike. So I ride my Peloton.
Nice.
I like doing the hills. I live in a hilly area.
Yes. Yes.
I love my yoga. I love meditation. I love
Yes.
Pilates. I love riding my bike. You name it. I love swimming.
Yeah.
I love an active lifestyle. I'm
Okay.
active.
Okay.
And it feeds my soul when I'm active. When I'm doing something or when I'm doing my workout, I'm also in my creative space thinking about shoots and stuff like that. So it keeps me grounded.
Yeah. So what, in that sense of self-care, and I know this is bleeding into your coaching a little bit, in that sense of self-care, what do you, we hear, there's two things that come to mind. One, I heard you talk about how you love yourself and you take pride in your body and you don't body shame, and you're kind, you're good to you.
Yes.
There's a difference in how you said that and what I sometimes see, where it's like, I am who I am, and it doesn't matter, because to me those are not the same energy, right? Like I feel like those are different. One feels forced, like I don't really believe it, but I'm saying it, and the other's like, hey, I'm figuring it out, and I love me regardless. How, shucks, let's go ahead and move to the coaching a little bit. How do you help women transition from, okay, I own all this because Lizzie's out here, so I can be out here, but you really shouldn't be out there like that necessarily. So, while at the same time, you should be confident. Like, how does that balance get found? And I'm asking, as an observer, as a coach, as a friend, how does one, or how do they how should one transition? How does that work? That mess of, okay, I'm tired of this, so now I'm taking on everything. I don't, what's that like? How does it work? What are your thoughts?
My thought, and a lot of women, we do so much. We're moms, we
Yeah.
work, we take care of our homes. We're doing a lot.
Yeah.
And with that, we usually shortchange ourselves. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of women will say, oh, I want to go to the gym, but I just don't have time. Or I want
Mm-hmm.
to work out, but I'm doing so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to tell women, put yourself first, because if you take care of you, then you can do all those other things even better. So that's my talk.
Yeah.
Make that time for you.
Yeah.
Be happy where you are on the journey,
Yeah.
but you want to be good on the inside so you have longevity and you're
Mm-hmm.
healthy. You don't want to have longevity and barely make
Mm-hmm.
it, barely be making it. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, I want women, or I tell women, do these things for yourself. Not so much like, oh, I'm going to work out. I'm never going to be this size body. That's okay,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to be the healthiest body you can be. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about a size of clothes or
No.
waistline. You want to be healthy. You want to put good things in your body.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about. You don't want to be a statistic.
Mm.
So
That's good.
do it for yourself.
You said something right there as I pull up
Mhm.
the most most talked about image of the last 48 hours. You said being good to yourself, it's about longevity. And you mentioned the necessity to put oneself first. I know I've had lots of conversations with women who have all these perceived notions of who they are, expectations of what they're supposed to be. All the while, what's actually happening is they're putting themselves last.
Yes.
And so I get the forced breakout, screw everyone else later in life, because there wasn't a sense of balance of self along the way, which would have given them the chance to be balanced or have some more balance. And one of the
Yes.
things that comes to mind for me is that, and I tell women is, look, if you're not good for you, you can't be good for anybody else.
Exactly.
If you're not prioritizing you, how do you expect your son to prioritize his wife? If you're not
Right.
prioritizing you, how do you expect your daughter to do that? And so the idea of motherhood means that everyone else must come first is such an empty space to come from.
Yes.
Empty space. But anyway, you've got your gorgeous photo that is I'm getting DMs all about. Tell us
I,
about who this woman is and
I
how
have
she
an
got to you.
interesting story about that photo. As you know, I do boudoir photography. And some of the pushback that I was getting was, I'm too old to do that. That's something for the younger women, or, I'm this age, I'm that age.
Wow.
So this picture was taken about actually 4 years ago. So I think I was like 58, something like
Okay.
that. I hired a photographer that I did not know. I knew him from online, but I did not know him.
Mm-hmm.
And I booked a boudoir photo session because I said, I'm telling these women to book with me, but if I'm not doing it,
Yeah.
maybe they have a point. Like, let me do it.
Uh-huh.
And it was really good for me because I became vulnerable. So I could feel what my clients probably feel about this because,
Mm.
the monkey brain starts saying, what are you doing these pictures for? You're a certain age. You don't need to do that. But
Mhm.
it was the best thing I could have ever done because then I really was sold on it. It's like, women, we should do this every year just because.
Yes.
Just because. So, and every year I've been doing my own photo shoot where I have a photographer photograph me.
That's what's up.
But it was empowering to do it and transformational
Mm-hmm.
because I went from the first probably 15 minutes of the shoot feeling probably like my clients do, like insecure, self-conscious.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your mind starts thinking, what is he thinking? He's probably looking at me saying, look at this lady and look at her, whatever, look at her butt. I don't know what I was thinking. But what he said to me about 20 minutes into the shoot, and I say this to my clients, and I guess I was feeling some sort of way. And he stopped the shoot and he looked at me and he looked in my eyes and he said, I got you.
Mm.
I got you. Just let it go. And the rest of the shoot just went beautiful.
That's
because
really
I
cool.
trusted him and I
Mhm.
just let go. Because it is being vulnerable when you meet someone and maybe you don't know them, like
Mhm.
my clients, um, when they come to me
Mhm.
and they go from, hi, nice to meet you, I met you online, to, okay, tell me what you're working with.
Take them clothes off.
Exactly. But normally what I like to do a transition. I like to have
Mhm.
my clients, I always, even though I'm doing boudoir, I will always say to my clients, why don't we start with the personal branding headshot so we can get used to one another.
Ah.
So then it's like, okay, that's a safe space. We do the headshot.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, I have a beautiful collection of gowns. And who doesn't like to play big girl dress up? So I'll say,
I
hey,
don't.
well, not yet.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm
I'll
teasing.
say, why don't you put on a gown,
Mhm.
take some pictures in that. And then we can transition from gown, headshot, down to your skivvies.
That's
Or
cool.
maybe not, because
Um,
my thing is boudoir has so many different faces. It's not like one woman's boudoir may be a bra and a thong, and another woman's boudoir may be just a white t-shirt, and they can both
mm.
be equally as sexy. So I don't like to put it in
Amen.
a box. Yeah, I don't like to put it in a box. It has to be, this is Victoria's Secret inspired, and that's what you need to do.
Right.
It can be walking outside on my property and a pair of short shorts that make you feel sexy.
Yeah.
So I like to find out what makes that woman feel that special way, alluring, sexy. So
That's cool. So the question that comes to mind for me is because I still you've been coaching women already in this conversation, which I love and I'm so appreciative of. The next the question I want to have as we put a small button on this segment is, do you take clients from around the country? Do you fly? Do they need to fly to you?
I
How do they
do.
connect
I
with you?
do. And lately I've been getting a lot of clients who are coming from other places.
Okay.
And about a month ago, I was hired to go to Aruba, where I
Nice.
photographed 8 women underwater at a beautiful Airbnb home.
Nice.
So I travel and people travel to me. And it really makes me feel special when I get clients from out of state, because I know it's not easy to pack up, come cross country,
Yeah.
you know, for a photo shoot. So I'm honored when that happens. I have
That that makes for a hell of a girls trip you just described. They get
yes,
something out of the country. They all share the price of the photography and bringing you in, and take
yes,
that trip up a whole other level.
exactly.
That's what's
And
up.
it was a blast.
That's what's up. Very good. Very good. So to get a hold of you, I know we're going to have it later, but for anybody
Yes.
that needs to take off, what do they need to do?
Well, they can find me on Instagram, Gervel Sampson Photography, obviously on Facebook. And my website is gervelsampson.com. And I'm a full time photographer, which means I am not a weekend warrior. I can photograph every day of the week if I choose to.
There we
This is
go.
what I do, this is my passion.
Very good. Very good. Now that we got that intro, the hook, right? The hook to get people to tune in because you make women's fantasies of imagery come
Yes,
alive. Let's talk about the coaching. What's that
yes.
all about? What have you been able to help women move from here to here in their life? And maybe, just maybe, some of those tips or secrets that you've birthed or that help you get there that you now use in coaching, right? Because the show is really about you, and it'll come from one way or another, but the floor is
The
yours.
main thing I like to convey is believe in yourself. Don't take no for an answer. I've had some things happen to me in the last 4 or 5 years that I have defied all the odds and surviving.
Yeah.
Um, and just believing in yourself and going with your gut, going with that feeling that you know you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
And most important, be selfish. Take time for yourself.
All right. So,
Take time for yourself.
how does one know what to believe given their experience? How does one know which voice is them that's pulling them when they've had all these other experiences? How do you help them sort through that to find that voice that says, yeah, that's the one I need to follow?
I think for me, it's in my case, having someone listen to you who may be an outside observer who can really take in everything you're saying and make sense of it.
Okay.
And they're not biased. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
yeah.
Someone who's not close to whatever your situation is.
Got it.
Someone who can listen and sort it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe for some people that may be a therapist, or
Mm-hmm.
it just needs to be someone who can look at all the facts and put it together and give
That's
you some
cool.
feedback to put you on that right path,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe a path that you don't see or did not see
Mm-hmm.
because you're so in it. And the other thing, and I think you've said this before too, I like to tell women or people in general, you can't operate in that space of fear.
No.
You can't,
Yeah.
because you will make some
Yeah.
desperate decisions if you
Yeah.
operate in fear. You can't
Yeah, you
stay
will.
in that fear mode.
Yeah. How does one? So this is really great, Gervel, because there's so. Remember, I talked earlier about the whole body thing. It's like, all right,
Yes.
this is what it is. So now, therefore, which is really out of a place of fear. It's like I'm going to fight the other way just as hard, but then it becomes destructive. It
Yes.
really leads into the other question that was coming up, and that question was, how does one be selfless without being destructive? What does that look like, and how does one transition to that? Because first of all, we already been told don't be selfish. But I know
Yes.
that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about selfish in a way that we should be, all of us,
Yes.
that then contributes and gives back to others. Can you unlock that transition from fear-based to holistic, loving myself to selfish?
I think it's something people just have to do, and they have to trust the process.
Okay.
They have to trust the process.
Okay.
Because you're right, we are told, do for others, don't be selfish. But if you can't, it's like what they tell you on the airplane, you got to put the mask on yourself first before you can help the other people.
Facts.
It's the same thing.
Facts. Facts.
It's the same.
Facts. I
It's
know
the
for
same.
me, I was just talking to someone about that the other day. It's this world of, I don't remember when it was, but it was in the last few years. I just decided for the rest of my life, I'm going to bank on me, no matter what that
Yes.
looks like.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean I don't care about anyone else, because I do. It just means I love myself so much more. Not
Exactly.
against anyone, but I'm kind to me the way I will be kind to others.
Yes.
I'm encouraging to me the way I encourage others. And
Yes.
so if I fall on my face in the process, guess what? I'll get a towel and wash my face, or get my Rodan and Fields and cleanse my skin and get back out there. I'm going to use
Yes.
the dirt and sand as an exfoliator
Exactly.
as compared to quitting or
Exactly.
surrendering.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And I think we've all gone through some of that with this pandemic.
Yeah.
Because the first thing people ask me, are you still working? And it's like, if I want to keep living, yeah, I'm still working.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm being safe, but yes, I'm still working.
Yeah.
I'm following protocol, but yes, I'm working on
Sure.
it. Yeah.
I mean, do you still go to
I
the
can't
grocery
operate
store?
in fear.
No. Oh, yes. You mentioned that.
Yes.
Do you have any tips for that? How not to operate in fear? Like, that is really a conundrum when it's present. It's like, well, what do I do? Right? I mean, I have my thoughts, but I'm curious from your angle, how do you coach people through being in a fearful situation, but learn to operate outside of the fear?
I think for me, part of the fear comes from feeling helpless or hopeless.
Mm,
So let's dissect whatever the problem is that's making you fearful.
yeah.
Let's come up with some solutions, and it may be simple things.
Hmm.
And once you can see the light or see a solution to something that maybe you, for whatever reason, you couldn't see it,
Hmm.
you can exhale and start chipping away at whatever that solution is.
Mm,
It's like there's nothing that's so bad that we can't figure out something for.
right. Right. Yes.
If
Yes.
you're breathing and talking about it, you're already ahead of the game. You're here.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. That's so funny, Gervel. I was talking to someone about that recently. It's like the idea of helplessness is only because we haven't dove into it to really discover what's actually happening. I know what that's like for me because I've been in helpless states where
me
I've
too.
lived in my head, and as a result of living in my head, which is helpless, right? Because I think I got all the answers, or I got to figure it out, or I don't have the answers, and I still got to figure it out. I began to live from here and making choices from worst case scenarios or plain ignorance because I didn't even really ascertain what the situation was. And once I did, I was like, oh, that's all that it is. Well, then
Right,
let me go make these moves, right?
right.
Like, it's so funny. I have I have a couple of situations that are seemingly challenging, or for, I hate to use this phrase, but for the average person, they'd be really frustrated. But my approach is, look, here's the deal. It is what it is. I could be frustrated, but what's frustration going to get me, other than less efficiency when I'm doing something I need to get done that can change the
Right.
situation, stress, which is going to make me exhausted and then impact what I need to do that can change the situation, more tension between the people I'm interacting with, which doesn't help my situation. And ultimately, I'm the only one losing, but the situation remains the same. So I
Right.
might as well let it be what it is and embrace what I can impact. Like, that's been some of my approach to really being able to operate while not operating in fear.
Yes. Yes.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So tell me this. What's some of the greatest wisdom and advice you've been given that to this day you still flush out? Or maybe you've deepened and now makes much more sense to you, or you've expanded.
I think for me, it's sort of what I try to share with others. Believe in yourself. There's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it and work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hard work. And regardless of, you know, what people may say or what you think you can't do, you really can do. I'm proof of that.
That's really cool. Is there, is there, and you're proof of that. What top two things? Believing in yourself, yes, I got it.
Yeah, yeah,
Are
yeah.
there any other elements that has made you become proof of that now? That you feel like, you know what, because I also did this, or because I, like for me, I'm going to say, I look for the silver lining every single time, even through tears, right? That's like part of my deal. And I was grateful for anything I could be grateful for. Those are some of my little things that have helped me. So when I hit my success, I'll look back and go, yeah, that's part of what was there. Some of those nuggets. Any other nuggets for you that have helped you?
For me, don't buy into ageism.
Okay.
Don't, I know people will say stuff like, oh, you shouldn't wear that. That's for this demographic. Or
Yeah.
I can't do that activity because I'm this age. I don't, I don't let myself be blocked in by age restrictions.
It's good.
Oh, you shouldn't wear a bikini because you're over 60 now, so that's something that's for the younger people. Or what? But people do have these boxes, so you almost want to say, do you have a certain birthday, and on that day you have to retire certain things? Like,
I don't get it.
exactly. So
I
I
don't
don't buy
get it.
into that. And there's
Good.
lots of those where
Good.
people will say, I can't wear that, or I can't do that, or I can't go there, or I can't listen to that. There's so many things
Yeah.
that people will preference by age.
Mm,
And I don't buy into any of those.
that's really cool. That's really cool.
I think just live your best life regardless of what your age is.
It's good.
Yeah. So that's
Don't
me.
buy in an age and live your best life regardless of your age.
Exactly.
Those are good.
Exactly.
Those are
Don't
two
do
things.
something because, oh, I'm this age. Don't, if you can't do something, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But don't not do it because, oh, I'm this age and somebody said that you shouldn't do this.
Yeah. Or
Someone
you
said
saw
you should stop
somebody.
coloring your hair at this. I don't know. There's just so many
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Believe me, I hate when women either become a mom or reach this age where they
Yeah.
think they have to cut their hair.
Exactly.
Nothing's wrong with short hair. Believe me, I know
Exactly.
some amazing and gorgeous women with little to no hair.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the idea that now I got to get it cut, and it's like
Yeah.
you didn't consult with anybody, did you? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yes.
what? But it's some psychological play, and it's funny to me because that psychological play pervades so many areas of our lives.
It does.
That as to your point, we stop living.
We
We
do.
literally stop living. We begin to exist.
Yeah, you
And
become
when we
restricted.
exist, we become bitter and we become no good, and we start to complain about things that really don't even affect us.
Exactly.
It's good.
Exactly. So,
Thank you. Are there any parting words you'd like to share before you give us any other details on? Oh, wait, no, because you gave some great coaching. Are you accepting clients? And if so, how can they reach you for that as well? In terms of
same
coaching?
website. You can just reach me,
Okay.
GervelSampson.com,
Perfect.
or DM me. I'm always engaged on all my platforms, so I will respond.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Any parting words that you'd like to share before we jump off?
This was a blast. This was a blast.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed being here, and
Thank you.
hope I can maybe give someone some inspiration today by hearing my story of starting a career later in life, whatever it may be.
Yes. Yes. That's good. Thank you. You're so classy. I loved having you on. The classiness just oozes from you. And it's a gift, I think, to other women. Like, hey, I'm here, I'm present, I'm confident, and I don't have to show it all and still be all that. Yet find a way to drop in a Brazilian bikini if I want to.
Exactly.
Like, I love it. I love
Exactly.
it. I totally love it. Well, I'm going to film him as an underwater astronaut. I don't even know why he would cover his face with a helmet, but whatever. I don't know.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hang out in the green room for a moment, and I'll be with you shortly.
Okay.
All right. One second here.
Okay.
First show back after a minute of traveling and having a really great time taking on the planet. Gervel Sampson. If you didn't get goods from that, you're not trying. This is Thriving Thursdays. I'm Marquise Martin Hayes. Don't let age define you. And regardless of your age, live your best life. Have a fantastic Thursday. We'll see you next time.